Are you a Stoic or are you an Epicurean? Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. So the question is, are you a Stoic or are you an Epicurean? These two words, Stoic and Epicurean, are found in the scriptures. I know Epicurean is found one time in the scriptures. That's Acts 17 verse 18, and Stoic is also found in the same verse. And I'm going to just read the scripture. I'm going to read from Acts, the 17th chapter, and I'm going to start from the 16th verse. And the headline, if you go to Blue Letter, is Paul at Athens. Now, why was Paul at Athens? Well, the 15th verse tells you. It says, and they that conducted Paul brought him unto Athens, and receiving a commandment unto Silas and Timotheus for to come to him, Paul, with all speed, they departed. So the understudies, if you will, of the Apostle Paul was Silas and Timotheus. In a previous lesson I spoke of Timotheus being a son of a woman that's a Jewish, and a father that was a Greek. And if you don't understand the scriptures, you would automatically think, and you're an Israelite, you'd automatically think, well, the mother was an Israelite, but the father was an Edomite. No, both mother and father were Israelites. The father of Timotheus was an Israelite that believed in the Greco-Roman way. He was probably a military man in the Roman army. He could have had a high ranking, could have been a captain, could have been a centurion. Anyway, Timotheus was not an Edomite. He was an Israelite. The men that were under the Apostle Paul, such as Barnabas and Silas, were Israelites. This gospel is only for the Israelites. Anyway, it says 16 verse, Acts 17 verse 16. And by the way, if you're an Epicurean, you shouldn't be in GMS. That should be the original name, the title of this video. Because in order for you to be a part of GMS, giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, you have to be a Stoic. And if you are not a Stoic, and there's levels to being a Stoic. A Stoic is a disciplinary, a person that's disciplined. A person that might get up at a certain time in the morning, do exercise, do a walk, do a run. He eats a certain diet that is beneficial to his health. He studies. He goes into material that enhances his knowledge of the scriptures. And we here at Great Millstone are known for this. And we here at Great Millstone, we attack any Israelite or any other group for that matter that goes, as we call it, goes off. Like the other day, the Apostle Orion Lob had did a video. It was dealing with John the Baptist fell off, excuse me. And I did a response to it because recently, I would say 6 months ago, the ISUPK made a statement that John the Baptist went off. So we immediately jumped on it, and we're speaking about it again. John the Baptist did not go off. That's ludicrous. John the Baptist did not go off. John the Baptist, how the fuck is John the Baptist going to go off when he was Elijah coming back? Do they at the ISUPK believe that Elijah came back? And if he came back, who did he come back as? According to the scriptures, he came back as John the Baptist. But when he came back, he just went off. He was like, the hell with it, man. I'm not with this no more. No, that's stupidity. That's ludicrous. And like I said, we here at Great Millstone, well, certain men in Great Millstone, myself and other particular men, jumped on it. Because we strive for perfection. We claim that we have 100% truth. And that's how a Stoic carries himself. A disciplinarian. Now, I'm not as disciplined as I was when I was younger. When I was young, I was in the martial arts, I was in the boxing. And I was always, if not the hardest worker, but one of the hardest workers. And I was always known. You went to the gym, you see me in the gym, you know, you looking for the hardest worker, you have to, yeah, he's the hardest worker in the gym. You know, when I was an amateur, I fought a number of fights. I sparred during my time of boxing. I sparred anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 rounds, and maybe 300 or 400 of those rounds was with pros, and I beat a lot of pros in sparring that were heavier than me, and people thought that I was a pro. I wasn't a pro. I was thinking about, I wanted to be a pro, but I never, the spirit didn't have me to turn pro. The Most High had set me up to come into this truth. But anyway, when I was a boxer, I was a disciplinarian. You know, I did my road work. You know, I went to the gym. I watched what I ate, and I was also a student of the game. You know, that's why you have guys that become world champions and guys that just go so far, because the guys that are world champions on the world champion level, like, let's deal with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, is a saying about Floyd that Floyd trains like he's poor. Floyd is a damn near billionaire. He's probably worth, if not a billion, close to a billion, or 500 million. And with having that money in the bank, so to speak, it should be hard for you to get up and train hard and be hungry. Well, Floyd is definitely a Stoic. He might have a little fun. He's a Stoic / Epicurean, because he gets into his Stoic mode, then he gets into his Epicurean mode. where he enjoys himself. And you're going to find out that an Epicurean is a laid back like guy that likes to drink and eat and go out to clubs and chill out. Really not disciplined. And there's no place in Great Millstone for anybody to be that way. If you're that way, you're going to fall off. You're going to fall off. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I might be getting a little bit into my emotions. But a Stoic, you know, we go out, we're known for going out every week. We're one of the only camps that go out throughout the whole winter. You got certain camps that just take, like IUCPK. I'm sorry, not IUCPK. IUIC. Nathaniel allows them to take the whole winter off if they're in a cold climate. Well, back at the main school, we went out all winter. So he's doing his own thing, man. The Apostle Paul said, preach the word in season, out of season. That means whether it's cold or whether it's hot. And people see that. That's why our name always comes up. Sarnetta recently said the situation with the Sakari at that strip club. He said, I know GMS until hard got on him, because in the back and in his heart of hearts, he knows that the GMS, them guys go hard, man. They out there in the winters, they defend the gospel. They know that, man. They know that. Even Vocab Malone, he made a statement because Sarnetta had asked him concerning, you know, who's like the most sincere camp, or whatever, however the question was, and Vocab said the most sincere camp, honest camp, is GMS by far. And he mentioned IUIC in the same, pretty much in the same sentence, but he said the most sincere camp and honest camp is GMS. Because why did Vocab say that? Because he notices that we go out all year round. When he confronted us, you know, it was a rough start when he rolled up on us, because the way he rolled up on us, but then everything got settled down and we dialogued. And truth be told, Vocab can see the truth. He can see that we're telling the truth in his heart of hearts. But anyway, let me get back into this. Please forgive me. Anyway, it's Epicurean has no place in GMS. I'm just putting that out there in the ether. It says, I hope I use that term correctly. Anyway, it says, now while Paul was definitely Paul was a Stoic. Real talk. Paul was a Stoic. It says, now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit, and why was he at Athens? Because they're pushing the gospel. We don't got to go. Paul had to go to these journeys. It was 3 major journeys. There's actually 5. If you go into the history, there was 5, but there was 3 major ones. And we don't have to do that. We don't have to get on the plane and go to Africa or go to South America, because we have YouTube. The YouTube, as Apostle Gabar would say, YouTube does our heavy lifting. So there's GMS camps all over the planet. In Africa, in South America, all throughout the US, Canada, and shouts out and shalom to y'all. So it says now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. These were Israelites. You had Israelites that knew that they were Israelites, Jews as they would say, and then you had Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, that were labeled as being Greeks or Gentiles. So they were worshiping idols. So that stirred his spirit up. It said, therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons. Now, a Christian, a vocab would say, see, it said the Jews and with devout persons. Those devout persons were of other nation. No. Those devout persons were devout Jews, Israelites. When you go to Acts, the 2nd chapter, 5th verse on down, it speaks about, and there were Jews, dwelling in Jerusalem, devout men out of every nation under heaven. That was talking about Israelites that were in other nations, that were scattered, to disperse, that knew that they were Israelites, that understood Deuteronomy 16 verse 16, that you should be gathered 3 times in a year. It says, therefore dispute he in the synagogue, which is the temple, with the Jews and with they were devoted to this, to the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Most High, and in the market daily with them that met with him. And by the way, the market or the marketplace, when you click on that word, the word there is agora. Agora means the marketplace. And that's where you had your debates. And by the way, you didn't have debates back then, were impromptu debates. You didn't set a date and go into a auditorium and pay money to watch these two guys debate. No, debates just happen. It just happened. Let me find that. I'm sorry. Marketplace. G58. The word is agora. Let me just try something. Okay, let me come back. Okay, agora. And I'm going to go into the root of the word agora as well. It says agora. Let me let you listen to it.
Strong's G58. Agara.
I say agora. It says an assembly, especially of the people, the place of assembly for public debating. So you had debates like you have all over America and around the world. You have different Israelite groups, not just us, but you have a Christian come up or a Muslim or whatever, and then they'll start going back and forth, and basically that's a debate. It wasn't planned, it just happens. It said for public debating, and this was in the open. This is where you did your shopping and so forth, as it's going to say in the definition. For elections, that's why you have your current election process. It's on TV, and you go out and you participate in the vote. It says for trials. So when they had their trials, they had it in the agora. So you can be walking by, and the trial could be going on, and you might stop and become a part of that crowd. It says for buying and selling. That's where you went and purchased things and sold things. The marketplace. For all kinds of business. Marketplace, street. Let me see if I can find this. I mean, I can find it, but let's see how quick I can find it. Yeah, what the hell did I do? Okay, let me try it this way. Bear with me. Okay, I found it. Song of Solomon 3. I wasn't sure whether it was the 3rd chapter or the 8th chapter. It says, Song of Solomon 3 verse 1. By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. And that's truth. Because everyone that, I'll use GMS, everyone that is part of GMS, the ones that came in after we went out on the street and went on YouTube, they were looking for truth. They were looking for truth. And when they saw the videos, they saw the IUIC videos, they saw the ISUPK videos, they saw the GMS videos, they saw the GOCC videos. The ones that are part of GMS said, GMS, they have the truth. Others said, oh, IUIC has the truth. So it says, by night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. And the him represents truth. It says, I will rise now and go about the city in the streets. I'll give you a little story of the elder Malcolm, which is the head of GMS Chicago camp. He came out to New York. We sat down and broke bread. Us, myself and the other apostles, some of the other elders, and he told a story. And he said he came to New York, and he came with his family, but he had them stay in a hotel or whatever, and he just walked around looking for the truth. Which the Spirit was in this, and that's I'm reading about it right now. And he probably looked, because he doesn't know New York City. He's from Chi-Town. And eventually he, but he knew about us on the videos, but he wanted to actually come and encounter us. And he's started teaching along with others, and it got built up, and then eventually he came to New York, and he stayed at brothers' houses, and stayed at my, came to my crib. And I remember him telling that story. I remember him, this was years ago. This was a while back. And I remember, I said, the Spirit was on this man. The Spirit was on this man to find his truth. This is why the Most High set up YouTube. YouTube was not set up. Esau didn't set up YouTube. The Most High set up YouTube. That's why when you take down our page, we immediately put up. We already got it in the we got it in the box. We got the other YouTube pages in the box. The YouTube pages are ready. So as soon as you take down one, boom, we're coming with two. Anyway, it says, I will rise now and go about the city. And that's exactly what the elder Malcolm did. He was actually walking around looking for us. And us, we are a representation of him, which is the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Rakakwadash. It says, and in the broad ways I will seek the broad ways. Every city has a Broadway, right? Every city has a Main Street, a Elm Street, and a goddamn Broadway. It says, second verse, Song of Solomon 3 verse 2. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the broad ways I will seek him whom my soul loveth. Now why did Elder Malcolm seek us? Because his soul loved the knowledge of the Most High. So he wanted to go, he wanted to see how far down the rabbit hole he can go. It says, I sought him, but I found him not. The watchmen that go about the city found me, to whom I said, saw ye him whom my soul loveth. And him finding the truth, looking for the truth, he had to find it through men. He had to find it through men. That's in Romans the 10th chapter, the 13th verse on down. The Most High established men. We learned this truth from men over us. It said, it was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth, which is the truth of the Most High. I held him and would not let him go. So to this day, Elder Malcolm, he's still in the truth. And we're talking about, what, 13 going on 14 years? He's a veteran now. He's a veteran of this truth. He doesn't. There was a time where these brothers used to call us and put in comments, what does this mean? What does that scripture mean? Somebody asked me about that. Well, they don't do that too. They don't do that at all, because you know why? Because they got the answers now. They got all the answers. It says, it was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth, which is the truth. So he became a philosopher. What is a philosopher? Bruce Lee was a philosopher. His when he studied in the university, his major was philosophy. And what does philosophy mean? It means lover of wisdom. I held him and would not let him go. What is that? Revelation 3:10 on down. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Revelation 3. Hey, this is why you got guys that came into this thing and fell off and went back into the world, because they were not Stoics. Now you could be a Stoic and fall off because you're not, you're not one of the chosen elect. Every last one of you that have turned your back on this thing, that have taken 10-year breaks, that have that have turned your back on this thing, you're not of the elect. Now, the Most High can have mercy on you and deliver you. So that's between you and the Most High. I can't help you on that one. But one of the reasons why you fell off is, number one, you're not of the elect, and number two, you were not a Stoic. You were not a disciplinarian. You were not disciplined. Some Lahab. Look, Troop, you were not disciplined. Well, Lahab wasn't disciplined, man, because Lahab teaching that Edomites can make it. And if you say, he never said that. Look, I ran into the brother 2 years ago and I asked him straight up. And he said, yeah, Edomites can make it. I said, man, you off. Anyway, Revelation. I'm kind of all over the place, but that's all right too. There's lessons within lessons. Okay, let's see if I found it. Okay, I did find it. Revelation, which I knew where it was. Revelation 3 verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that's already happened. I'm not going to go into it. You know, Crown Vic 2020, Crown Vic Royale, that's going to lead to the thing, the mark of the beast, which, by the way, we here at Great Millstone from the beginning, from the first month of 2007, which was in July, we went into the mark. All right. Even before YouTube, we went into the mark. I used to go into the mark of the beast every week. There were certain guys in the camp that used to snickle, because every week if I taught, I had to go into the mark of the beast. It was a spirit. Now I remember one guy that used to snickle about it, which he believed it was a mark of the beast. Guess what? That nigga fell off. And he's missile food. Anyway, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall... Now, certain individuals said, go ahead and take the jab. We know the white man's a devil, but go ahead and take it anyway. The Most High is not dealing with that guy. You know what I'm talking about. And the Most High is going to destroy him. So, Captain Cesariak, you better think hard, brother. You better get your act together. Cause you in the wrong thing. It says 10 verse again, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which is you have patience because you're a Stoic and not a goddamn Epicurean. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. He's gonna give you the will. You know, when the thing came up, the jab came up, brothers, and the brother, I don't know what. I said, man, what you gonna do, brother? I said, I'm doing what the Most High told me to do. Which shall come upon all the world. This thing is throughout all the planet, right? It's a world thing. To try them, test them that dwell upon the earth. Earth, meaning the whole planet Earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast. What do you have that you got to hold fast to? Fast means fasten to hold tight. The truth. Don't turn your back on the plow. Don't fall off. Because you're going to eat a missile. It said that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Father, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem. So you had the old Jerusalem, now you got a new Jerusalem, right? It said, which cometh down out of heaven from the Most High, I will write upon him my new name. So New Jerusalem is based upon Old Jerusalem, right? So the new name is based upon the old name being polished up and given back to you. Because it was centuries that millennia that we have not known this Lord, the Most High's name. So we know it now. Okay, let me come back. Okay, so we're back at Agora. Agora, any assembly, especially of the people, the place of assembly. Now the new assembly too has been broadened by the YouTube, because you got people that watch all the GMS. Man, there's going to be hundreds of GMS camps out there today, all throughout this country and around the world. The place of assembly for public debating, for elections, for trials, for buying and selling, for shopping, for all kinds of business, marketplace, street. So now let's come back. Acts 17 and 17. Therefore disputed he, and Paul disputed them in the synagogues of the temples with the Jews, or Yahwadah, and with the devout persons, Israelites that were devout, not Edomites. And in the market daily, the Agora daily, with them that met with him. So how do you meet with us? You go on the YouTube page and you watch. You can't wait for the next video. If the video, what happened, man? Y'all didn't come out this week. What happened? Anyway, it says 18 verse. Then certain philosophers, philosopher meaning lover of wisdom, of the Epicureans and of the Stoics, encountered him. And you're going to see the difference between the Epicurean and the Stoic. There's no place for Epicureans in Great Millstone. You might as well get one of them laid back camps that like to party all the time. And some said, what will this babbler say? Now the modern day Epicureans and Stoics are the black consciousness movement. Because you know what I noticed? Every time somebody to speak, the Bible always comes up. We done made him talk our talk. Through the Most High, they made him talk our talk, or the Most High's talk. Because now they're reading scriptures. You know what I'm saying? They're arguing scriptures, and even Shaka Mos said, "Who killed Kemet?" Well, it was the Israelites that killed Kemet. The spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash Wa Yasha Allah. Israel pushed. Look, when was the last time you heard Assad speak about the Moors? Now they got pastors, Pastor Bennett, Pastor Pease, like you used to do. That's all they doing. They arguing over the scriptures. Even Garfield, all they do is argue. Oh, the scriptures say this, so how can you? Like they did a video about the debate that took place with Captain Zazariak, and then the next day, Garfield did a video live thing, and they were bringing out scriptures. You can't say it's just for Israel. Look at this scripture right here. Well, your eyes are closed to this. Either your eyes are closed or you got paid off. Let me read on. Acts 17 verse 18. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? Because to them, we're babblers, man. But now these conscious individuals All they taught, the topic is always centered around the Bible and the Israelites. Why? Because we have the truth. Others, some, he seems to be a setter forth of strange gods. Yes, strange gods to them, because they didn't know about Yahushua. Because he preaches unto them. Now the word there is Jesus. Now we know, if you say Jesus, you're really a dummy. Even the scholars, as a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Sometimes you got to follow what these Edomites say, because a lot of times they got it right. Okay, let me get the word Jesus.
Strong's G 2424. Jesus. Jesus.
That's a Greek way of saying Jesus. There was, if you notice, let me let you hear it again.
Strong's G 2424. Jesus. Jesus.
Where was the G at? The J. It's not in there because there was no such thing as the letter J. That came about, what was the year? 1524, and I forget the devil's name that put it in there, but the J is really a Renaissance, the Renaissance language. J is a letter of the Renaissance world. So any man that claims they know the scriptures and the Most High is dealing with them, if they say Jesus, they really don't know the scriptures, and the Most High is not dealing with them. Now, like I said, if you click on the blue letter Jesus, the word is Jesus. Then it says of Hebrew origins. The blue letter is telling you that, and it says H 30:91. It says, and they went off on this. It says Yahweh Shai. No, it should be Yahushai. It should be Yahushai. It's the same name for Joshua, which is the name that was given by his father or his parents was Yahushai. Moses was the one that added the Yah to the prefix of the word Yahushai. There was a king in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter of Israel, or the kingdom of Israel, that was taken over by the Assyrians, and he had to pay tribute to the king of Assyria at that time was Shalmaneser V, and his name was King Hoshea. Hoshea means deliverer, savior, deliverer. So Yahushai's name, which is whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, is the same name for Joshua, Moses, second in command. The Hebrew is Yahushai. Okay, so now let's come back. There's lessons within lessons. Okay, so let me read this 18 verse again, Acts 17 verse 18. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? Others, some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preaches unto them Yahushai. The word there is Yahushai, and the resurrection, because that was considered how can I say, anybody said that somebody died and rose from the dead, I said, are you crazy? Well, our Lord died and rose from the dead. It says, 19th verse, and they took him and brought him unto Areopagus. And Areopagus, let's look up the word Areopagus. I already know what it means. It's a Mars peak. Mars is a god of war. Okay, Areopagus. It says, from Eris, the name of the Greek deity of war, and a derivative of, let me go to that. To make fast the word, let me let you listen to it.
Strong's G 4078. Pagnomy. Pagnomy.
To make fast, to fix, to fasten together, to build by fastening together. So Areopagus, it says from Eris, the name of the Greek deity of war, and a derivative of the word I just went into. Areopagus, Marshall Peak or Mars Peak. The Greek god Ares was known to the Romans as the Roman god Mars, which is Ares, the Greek god of war. It says Areopagus, a Marshall Peak or Mars Peak, a rocky height in the city of Athens, opposite the western end of the Acropolis toward the west. So that became a place based upon this god. It says 19 verse again, Acts 17 verse 19. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine, was that a new doctrine? No, it was new to them. It was new to them. Whereof thou speakest is, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. The whole, as vocab would say, the whole Hebrew Israelism is strange because it's new, but it's not new. It's old. It's just coming back. It's getting polished. The dust, it was dug up, so to speak. The truth was dug up. That was under the ground, cleaned up, polished off, and presented back to you, so it becomes new again. There's a song, everything old is new again. It says let me read the 19 verse again. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know. That's why these jakes in the church can't get this. And you got these clown ass pastors. There's a group of guys called Hebrew Israelites, and they're going off and they go into the Bible, know the Bible real good, but Satan is in them. Yeah, because they try, because the Christianity is losing members to Israelism, to being an Israelite. It says 20th verse again, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. It's strange to them. Now mind you, almost 100%, if not 100%, of all the brothers and that woke up to the fact that they're Israelites, whether it be IUIC, ISCPK, GOCC, HOI, LOI, HODC, GMS, and there's many. The list goes on and on. They all were pretty much Christians. They all were brought up in so-called Christian homes. So these pastors are getting scared. It said great fear fell on them in Revelation, the 11th chapter. Ezekiel 37 chapter, the bones coming out of the valley, which is America. You can't stop this. This is the you're trying to fight against the Most High, and you're gonna lose, Esau. And you sell out, Jakes. It said, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears, we would know therefore what these things mean. For all the Athenians, which were, you had Edom, in Athens you had Edomites, you had other nations. And this was like a metropolis, a mother city, where you had sort of a melting pot like Rome or America today. America is known as a great melting pot. It says, for all the Athenians and strangers, which are Israelites, the Athenians that it's referring to Israelites in Athens, even though you had other nations up in there, and strangers, which were Israelites, which were there, spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. Well, that's the conscious movement, man. They're confused, man. They're confused. They're all fucked up. And it died again. The chemic thing is dead, brother. It's dead. It's dead. You're gonna die with it if you don't wake the hell up. It goes on to say, a sermon on Mars Hill. It said, then Paul, let me get back to Stoicism and Epicureanism. It says, 22nd verse. Then Paul, but I love this. I love this part of the scripture, man. I love it. We did a video years ago on the same chapter, and the Spirit jumped on me, and I was going in, and Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ricard, and Apostle Ramla were there, and I noticed that they had mean looks on their faces because I didn't give them a chance to speak. But the Spirit was on me. The Spirit was on me. I couldn't help it. I just kept going. So when I read this particular chapter, it stirs me up, man. This is a great historical event that took place, and Paul running into them Israelites up in Athens. So it says, 22nd verse, Acts 17 verse 22, it says, then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, ye men of Athens, he was talking to Israelites in Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For 23rd verse, for as I passed by and held your devotion, I found an altar with the inscription to the unknown God. Now, if you look that up, you go to the description, you look it up, in Google, you had these, how can I say, inscriptions on, carved, chisel in stone, and they would say the unknown God, and there was one left, and I got the picture on my other computer, and it says in the Greek, it says to the unknown God, because they knew that there was a power, they just didn't know who the power was, because there's only one power, and you have his sons, and you have the angel, his son, then the angels. It says, I found an altar with the inscription to the unknown power, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship. Yeah, because they know that these Israelites in Athens knew that there was a power, but they didn't know the power. but they worship this unnamed power. And Paul said, well, that power is Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why he said, him declare I unto you. Then he goes on to say, seeing that he is Lord over heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, because he's a spirit. He that worship him must worship in spirit and truth. I believe that's John 4. So now let's deal with the word Epicurean and Stoic. Stoic simply means a helper, defender belonging to a sect of Epicurus, the philosopher. It was named after a man, but they don't give you a lot of information. So what I did was, I hope I can find it. Okay, here it is. Boom. Epicurean. Where the hell is it? I mean, I have it. I just want to find a place. I don't want to read. That's not it. Bear me. Okay. Epicureanism. It says in modern popular usage, an Epicurean is a connoisseur of the arts of life and the refinements of sensual pleasure. A guy that all he want to do is have sex all day. He want to chill out. He want to sleep. He want to eat. He want to make sure his belly is full. And I'll give you the perfect example of a Stoic and the Epicurean. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome, which he was a Jake Israelite during the time period of 181 AD. If you watch the movie Gladiator, the emperor was Marcus Aurelius, and he had a son named Commodus. Marcus was a Stoic, and Commodus was an Epicurean because he was born with a silver or gold spoon in his mouth. So in the movie they showed you as a man without character, which he was, because he was born with a gold spoon in his mouth, and he was popping a lot of women. You know, he was eating and drinking. You know, and he was enjoying life. Now the emperor was super rich, but guess what? He was a Stoic. He was a disciplinarian. He didn't live like a rich person, even though he was rich. Going back to Floyd, you know, even to this day, Floyd. You see Floyd look like he's in tip-top shape because he's a Stoic. He's a Stoic. He can't help it. He's a Stoic in the Epicurean world, and that's hard to do. It said in modern popular uses, an Epicurean is a connoisseur, a devourer of art, of the arts of life and the refinements of sensual pleasures. Epicureanism applies to a love of knowledge, enjoyment especially of good food and drink. Now there's nothing wrong with eating good food, but you got people like Commodus, that he was laying on his back, popping women all day, eating grapes, drinking wine, eating the best of food. That's why I said in the beginning of this video, there's no place for an Epicurean in GMS. And this is why these other camps, you got guys that fall off, even in GMS, guys that fall off because they want to go back to an easier life. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to go to it. I'll just quote it. It's in Ecclesiasticus. It says, a stone at trial. You know what? Let me see something. I'm not going to try to look for it because I got to bring up the Apocrypha. But anyway, it says, I'm paraphrasing, whereby you cast it off, a stone at trial, whereby you cast off ere it be long. So wisdom is like a stone on your back. Now it can either wear you down or it can build you up. You got this stone on your back and you say, well, you know what, let me put it on one side and shoulder to the other side and I'll build myself up. Or I can't deal with this no more, and you throw the stone down. Just put it in the comment section. I'm not gonna go to it. I got too many tabs open. But it's in Ecclesiasticus. Anyway, that's what a Stoic is. It says Epicureanism is a system of philosophy founded around 307 BC, based upon the teachings of the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus, which he was a Jake, an Israelite. Epicureanism was originally a challenge to Platoism, which is named after Plato, which is another Jake. The seven sages, those were Jakes. Homer and I can't even remember. I'm not even going to try to, but Homer was one of them. Later, its main opponent became Stoicism. So we're going to go into the word Stoicism. A few writings by Epicurus have survived. So now we're going to go into Stoicism. The men of GMS are Stoics, not Epicureans. Okay, let's and one of the history's most famous Stoics is Marcus Aurelius, the father of Commodus. It says Stoicism, the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. If that doesn't describe GMS, I don't know what will. Guys take off, like IUIC, they take off the winters in the cold climates, northeast, east, and so forth, because their fearless leader, Nate, told them, nah, you don't got to go out no more. As a matter of fact, he don't even go out no more. Because being in the cold, and this winter that passed, the last winter, what piece of cake. This winter was a piece of cake. Last winter was a piece of cake. It says the endurance of pain, because when you're in there and it's and that cold, you feeling that cold, that's painful, man. Your fingers, you got to put gloves on. Your nose is, you might have a cold. You might have the flu. Hell, I've been out there with the flu. I had the flu, colds, coughs, sick, and still out there in the cold, man. It's the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. The famous saying in the movie Platoon, Charlie Sheen's character, he said, he was talking to his grandma, he said, "Grandma," he said, "these guys are grunts because they can take it," something to that effect. Well, anyway, they were forced into being Stoics. It says, an ancient Greek school of philosophy founded at Athens by Zeno of Citium. The school taught that virtue, the highest good, is based on knowledge. The wise live in harmony with the divine reason, divine, the Most High, also identified with fate and providence. Fate and providence is what? Prophecies. What is the Israelites known for? Our prophecies. What is Great Millstone known for? Going into the prophecies that govern nature and are indifferent to the vicissitudes, of fortune, and to the pleasure and pain. Let me see what else I can find. Okay, Marcus Aurelius. And Marcus Aurelius, which was known as one of the good Caesars, good emperors, whatever the case is. Okay, let me see if I can find. Let me do this. Let me try this. What the fuck did I just do? I don't want that. Okay, Marcus Aurelius. If you look that up, Marcus Aurelius Antonius, which he was an Israelite, was Roman emperor from 161 to 180, and a Stoic philosopher. He was the last of the rulers known as the 5 good emperors, because they were Jake. A term coined some 13 centuries later by Niccolo Machiavelli, and the last emperor of the Pax Romana, which means the peace of Rome. So when these Jakes came into power, they tried to make Rome a good place to help the people. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. From Julius to Domitian, those were all Edomites. From Nerva on up, they were Jakes, and Esau ain't gonna tell you that, but Esau knows. So anyway, with that, I think I said enough, and it's on to the next one. Shalom.